Welcome to 10,000 Tacos, everyone, a show about the taco life. Each week, we bring you conversations and perspectives connected to the tortilla culture. We tell you about taqueros, molineros, tamaleros, and in this case, Pit-Maestros. Can I say that? Pit-Master? Pit-Maestro? As well as scholars and journalists who help us understand and see Mexican food beyond the plate. I am Isidro Salas, the proud son of a taquero, along with Texas Monthly taco editor Jose Ralat. Thank you for joining us today.
¿Qué onda, Isidro?
What's up, man?
You know, today's a special show.
Yes.
We not only get to talk tacos, but we get to talk about barbecue and the intersection of the two. You know how much I love intersectionality. Have we gotten barbecue together?
No, not exactly. And I have to be careful here, but I do want to say real quick that we did get a taco with some brisket on it. And, so I see barbecue tacos like breakfast tacos. I've had them both because I get a tortilla and I go to town. It's not a big deal. So today, it's going to be a very unlikeliest of days, like Halley's Comet. It doesn't come around very often, but today I'll be proven wrong and I will be taken to school. And I'm very much looking forward to that.
Well, we're going to have to rectify that by going to Zavala's Barbecue in Grand Prairie. It's like a 15-minute drive from my house. It's owned by Christan Zavala and her husband, Joe. Thank God Kristan's the face. It was a barbecue joint that began as a backyard pop-up. And then in 2019, got a brick-and-mortar pretty much right downtown. And it's become so beloved and so embraced by the city that they got to change one of the streets at the intersection to Brisket Lane.
So cool.
So Zavala's Barbecue is at Brisket and Main. It's been a hit from the get-go. And in 2021, Joe's dreams were realized when his restaurant was named one of the top 50 best barbecue joints in the state by Texas Monthly. He celebrated by drinking champagne out of a shoe, something that F1 drivers like Daniel Ricciardo like to do. I think drinking out of a shoe is disgusting.
You're not into those fetishes? I'm kidding.
No, man. But Joe Zavala is amazing. He has his own podcast. It's called Brisket and Main. He has a YouTube video series with Meat Church, which is a barbecue rub and sauce company. He's been a featured chef at Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Mavericks games. He also hosts a regular barbecue class at Four Corners Brewing Company. Perhaps most importantly, though, about the time that Joe was diagnosed with cancer in 2019, that's the year the place opened. Joe and his wife, Christan, established the Zavala Family Foundation, which helps restaurant industry families dealing with cancer. Joe is currently in remission. Here's the kicker, though. All of this is a side hustle. He has a day job. I don't know how he does it. God bless him, because that is amazing. So please welcome numero uno side hustler, Joe Zavala.
Man, you make me sound good.
Welcome, Joe. This is so freaking cool. It's nice to meet you, man, because I followed your work, and, your online presence is pretty damn cool. But we have to put you on the spot right away. We kind of warned you on this.
Yeah.
This is probably the most important issue facing society today. Liz Cheney tweeted to me that, hey, January 6th commission is important, but we need to really put this on the schedule here. But we have a very important question to ask you. Jose, do the honors.
You really built it up. Uh,
Oh man.
I think you're overselling this, but I'm going to roll with it. Joe, is a burrito a taco?
If memory serves me right, Mr. James Beard James Beard winner, a burrito is a taco.
Thank you for that validation. Rim shot, please.
Nice knowing you, man.
The funny thing is, like, and Jose's been to our breakfast tacos that my wife and Bonnie run, and it's so funny because we call those breakfast tacos, right? But people come in, they call them breakfast burritos, and like when I think of a burrito, I think of it wrapped, right? And they just think of it, the size of the taco is what makes a burrito. But maybe I'm wrong. Like, I just always think of our breakfast tacos as tacos, but we have at least 20-30% of people call us our breakfast burritos.
Don't Texas our burritos, man.
All right. So that's a good point. I did forget to mention Mas Coffee Company. It's your morning side hustle with great coffee and breakfast tacos. But the tacos aren't that big. I mean,
I don't think so either.
They look like breakfast tacos to me. And what's unique about this is that you put the barbecue with the eggs and you use local flour tortillas. You're a homegrown kid from Grand Prairie, but your family is from South Texas.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Specifically, De Zavala County, right?
Yep. Zavala County.
Does that have anything to do with your last name?
I always tell people it'll be a great story because Lorenzo de Zavala was the first vice president of Republic of Texas. And as you know, during the years, a lot of Spaniards and Mexican people started dropping the dead, right? So I haven't had time. My wife just did, the 21andMe?
23andMe, yeah.
23andMe. I think I really need to do it and see if there's some correlation because that would be awesome. But my dad's side of the family was born in Georgetown, my great-grandparents, and then they moved to Crystal City where Zavala County is. And, we have multiple generations that have been there. So I would want to say yes, but I highly doubt it. I think we were just some lucky Mexicans that were, in Zavala County with the same last name.
Modest Mexicans. Just say yes, man. Just say yes.
Man, it's one of those things. Like, we live in a world that we have to tell the facts, right? Because everybody's fact checking us. Like, let me work on it. That's going to be my goal this year. To figure out if there's a correlation to Zavala County in our last name.
Well, I'm going to believe that there is. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, your family is one of the families that had the border crossed them.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So, we're true Chicanos and Tejanos, right? Like everybody says, like, are you Mexican? And it's kind of hard, right? Because we are Mexican, but we're Texican, right? And, when they said the Rio Grande is right here, it's in like 45 minutes from Eagle Pass, right? In Perez Negras. So it's right there.
Gotcha. Yeah. You are more Texan than let's say it, Greg Abbott.
Who's that?
Who's that? Yeah. We're not going to talk about
Is that a baseball player?
So why barbecue?
Our vacation growing up was going down to see our grandparents. And I think that's a thing that's beautiful about the, Mexicano, the Tejano, the Latin culture. It's family's number one, right? So we didn't go to Disney World. We didn't go to SeaWorld. Like, our vacation was Christmas, Easter, go see our grandparents, my parents spending time with their family, and starting a fire, right? Cooking out. And this was a time that all those friends that didn't move away from the city, from their hometown, that stayed there, this was almost like those family friend reunions. So what do? You start a fire, all the families come over, all the kids are playing, all the parents are having a good time cooking out. And I just remember our barbecuing was, getting a tortilla right off the grill, throwing in some meat. We didn't even know what kind of beef or chicken it was, right? We just knew it was good. And there was a pico de gallo or some kind of avocado, quick guacamole on the side and a salsa. And we were just eating right next to the fire. And then if we got lucky, there was some rice and beans, we could make a quick plate. And it was hot out there. And then when we came back from those vacations, we love the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of people hate them, but, here in Texas, especially DFW, we love the Cowboys. And, every Sunday, my dad had friends over and he would cook out. He would barbecue chicken, make some ribs, make some fajitas. And it was always a communal thing, right? We always knew people were going to be over for the game. And my dad wanted to make sure people had food. And it was just something about that. No matter how your week went or getting started for that next week, that Sunday, we knew it was going to be nothing but family and friends eating, and the grown-ups drinking their beers, and then the kids asking for their Cokes. And, back then we were drinking the generic stuff from Winn-Dixie. There was like a race car driver that was on it. They had the strawberry soda and everything like that. So couldn't get the real Dr. Pepper, but those are the memories that I remember. And it was like the most beautiful thing. And it's really cool when people come to our place now. They're like, this reminds me of growing up. And that's really all I want. Like, we're giving people that memory of what their childhood was. And it's almost, we have to be a steward of this moment, right? Because cooking out in your backyard with your family and friends, like, as much as you want to say it's going on all the time, you have to plan it 2 months in advance to do it. And back then it was just every Sunday or every Saturday, you knew it was going to happen.
Just what you said about Disneyland, we meet so many people that say, of course, the food takes them back. And just what you described, when people like you have this drive to have this food and serve it to others and make a business out of it, but just that key that you make me want to go to your place instead of Disneyland, right? And I believe that there's a lot of people out there like Disneyland is Disneyland. We know that. I don't understand why adults go there. I get it. I'm going to get bashed for that. But when you say that, you make it seem like it's more special. It's really illuminating. I can't wait to get to your place, man, because it feels like I'm not from Texas, but it probably feels like I was supposed to be born there. So,
and I'll say in our business plan, the first thing that we have in our business plan is we want people to feel like they've been part of their family forever. Like when you walk in, and I think we've done that every single write-up that's been local, national. All they talk about is our customer service. And also, if you go look, as much as I don't read reviews, they say we're really expensive, and that's okay because we use the best ingredients you can. We educate people, but no matter what, they never bash our customer service. They talk about how amazing it is, and that's the only thing I care about. Is I want to make sure people feel like they're part of our family because that's the only thing that we can control.
So you talk about the meat. If there's anything that unites all Texans, it would be beef. Even the vegetarians, they want their beef-like vegan substitute, right? And beef, be it brisket, be it fajita, cabeza, varies in quality, varies in price point. You use one of the most in-demand purveyors of beef, 44 Farms out of Cameron, Texas. And you reached out to them at a time where they just didn't have the capacity to meet the demand. So how did you convince them?
Me and the wife, like, we want to make sure that we do is right at all times, no matter. That's why even Jose, we reach out to you sometimes whenever we're thinking about a dish, because we want to make sure that we're being stewards of whatever that dish is. Like, we don't want to steer it to the right when we can steer it to the right, but we want to make sure we have the baseline in the foundation. So the good thing about 44 Farms, we started from the very beginning with them. Like, they said we can only get beef belly. We said we'll take it. What did we do with beef belly? We had no idea what to do with it. We made some sausage. We made some beef belly burnt ends because that's all we can get. And then they knew that we were committed, so they gave us beef cheek. So we make beef cheek from it. And then later down the road, they gave us beef ribs. And probably about 2 years into it, they knew that we weren't just a fly-by-the-night place, that we were actually trying to provide the highest quality of customer service, but also food. We had our first pop-up. It was second pop-up. It was a Christmas pop-up. And I asked 44, Jose is actually our 44 rep, Vargas. And I said, hey, can I just have 6 briskets? Like, because that's all we were selling when we first started. And we thought we were on top of the world. I'm like, can we get 6 briskets, please? And he's like, you know what? You've been with us for 2 years. You've never bitch. You just like listen and you understand the process. Here's 6 briskets. We got those and it was life-changing. And then we were able to get 6 to 10 briskets a week. And that's what we were selling on Saturdays when we first started our pop-ups at the Brass Bean. And then we got cut off from them because, to Jose's point, they only slaughter 200 cattle a week. And that means there's only 2 briskets on a cow. That means there's 400 briskets total. Right now, we get 100 of those briskets. So we literally get 1/4 of all their production when it comes to briskets. And when I say it's the best meat in Texas, it's the best meat in the world. It is the absolute best beef. There's no antibiotics, no hormones. The meat is much smaller, but the marbling in it, it's unbelievable. And it's some of the most highly sought after beef. And, it's just a great partnership. And funny enough, the actual owner, Bob McLaren, actually graduated from South Grand Prairie. So I think he also has a little soft spot from us because we're a local family and we're making his town proud. So, I think it's also one of those things of always make sure no matter who you're talking to, put a smile on your face and have a conversation. People want to talk. And one thing I try to tell people all the time, people want to help people. Like people aren't out there saying, oh, I want to do this, do that. I'm going to be better than you. Like people truly want to help. You just got to ask for help. People want to help.
Can I highlight something with that? Like if you guys get a quarter of those, right? That's a lot. I want to highlight the fact that we live in a capitalist society, obviously, right? Where you can make more money, where you could arbitrage things. Somebody else would have taken that quarter and maybe divided it and sold it at a higher price, right? We tend to forget that we live in a world where people are always seeking the next opportunity, but you're taking that in the way you make him sound is it's a great relationship and you have to honor that relationship.
100%.
And it shows up in your food because a lot of people have bad images of capitalism, but then some people outside of Texas will like to believe that some people, ranchers or oil people, are just money hungry people. But this is an example of how it's supposed to be, how the trust is there on both sides. And then the end result is wonderful barbecue. That is awesome.
100%. Could I agree more?
Do you get your fajita from 44?
We do.
Oh!
We do. Every single beef that we serve is only 44 farm. And it's really awesome because whenever we get invited to festivals or to events, everybody says, no. We understand you only use 44 farms. We're going to get that for you. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And it's really awesome because our relationship's so deep that people inside the industry know that's the only meat provider that we use. And they understand for us to go do something that I have to use 44 farms, and they're totally open to that. And again, it's a premium and they understand that, but it's because of that deep relationship that you're talking about. And that's been 4.5, 5 years in the making.
So Zavala's is really about centering these close relationships. It's about family, like you said. Your wife gets up really freaking early to make sure that people like me have their breakfast tacos. One of those breakfast tacos is the egg-based version of your sloppy one. Now, it's obviously a play on the Sloppy Joe, that being your name, but your actual real name is Jose, from what I understand.
It is. Jose Angel Zavala.
Oh, wow. Angel. Wow. Where did the Sloppy one come from?
So one of my mentors and my big brothers is Jordan Jackson, who was number 4 barbecue joint in Texas Monthly in 2017. He's actually working at Franklin's right now. And they had a college across street from them. They had $1.99 Sloppy Joe. So they were utilizing 44 Farm. And I saw him putting some of the brisket in there and the pulled pork and a whole bunch of barbecue sauce and just make Sloppy Joes nonstop. College kids were just coming in and getting Sloppy Joes. And as we were opening up in downtown Grand Prairie, we knew that our price point's expensive for barbecue. We know barbecue is expensive. So what is it that we can have that's a price point that anybody can walk in and get? And then also we live in, as much as I don't want to say this, we live in a world of social media. We have a rule at a restaurant. If it doesn't look good for the gram, it doesn't go out because 100% of our marketing is social media, and it has to look visually appealing and beautiful every single plate because we're getting judged. Like if we're not hitting 97, 98s, we suck. Like we can literally hit a 96 and still be one of the best barbecues somebody's ever had. And they're gonna be like, oh, this is a terrible thing. Like blah, blah, blah is better, or I make better barbecue at the house. And I hope you do because you're making 1 or 2 briskets, and we have to consistently make 24 briskets a day that are all hitting the same marks. Mm-hmm. So within that brisket, we need to make sure for us to be a business, right? For us to be viable, for us to be able to pay our 12 employees, we have to utilize every piece of that brisket. So there's some of that brisket that's still amazing, but visually it doesn't look good on a plate. Like it's nothing somebody's saying, oh my God, look at that lean, look at that fatty, look at that render fat. Like this is a perfect slice of brisket. So because of that, this is the ability for us to chop it up, mix it up in sauce with some pork, and give somebody a taco at a price point at $5 where they're almost getting probably a half a pound of meat. And the smart OG people, they buy 3 extra tortillas and they can make 4 tacos out of 1 sloppy one. And it's a thing for us to be able to give every single person that walks in our door something they can get and get full. And, they're getting the best quality meat too. And the funniest thing is I have so many people when they bite into it, they're like, man, this is just, I don't get it. Like, it just reminds me of something I ate growing up. And it really is because as Jose can tell you, like North Texas, our barbecue hasn't become what our barbecue scene is until the last 3 years. But for 30, 40, 50 years, it was just chopped beef. Like all the top barbecue places was just random beef chopped up in barbecue sauce. So growing up, everybody in North Texas and East Texas, all we ate was chopped beef. So this kind of gives everybody, because everybody's all about the craft barbecue, the beautiful slices. And this just goes back to basics of what we used to eat. And people were just like, oh my God, this is like revolutionary. Like this is like so different. And I'm like, no, it's just what we ate growing up, and it's in a tortilla.
I want to share a secret. I prefer black and Tejano barbecue over a lot of the craft stuff because a chopped brisket sandwich or a chopped meat sandwich dripping with barbecue sauce is satisfying. It's messy and it's satisfying. It's a way to instantly connect with the community. Now that involves nostalgia, like you mentioned. But that's not what got you the top 50 placement. For those who don't know, can you tell our listeners what the Texas Monthly Top 50 list is and why it's so important?
So I tell people I want to be humble about it, but it was a lot of fucking hard work. And like, I am proud of it. Our team, our sacrifice, my family, it's the most ultimate, I don't even call it an award, just accolade that you can get in barbecue. It is our Michelin star, our James Beard. It is, it's the top 50 barbecue joints in Texas, but in reality, it's the top 50 barbecue joints in the world because everybody wants to be Texas barbecue. But the funny thing is, every joint on that top 50 barbecue list, they're all different. Even if you look at Valentina's, 2M, Panther, Hurtado's, ourselves, they're Chicano, Mexicano, Tejano barbecue places, we're all different. We all have what we grew up with. And it was, that's the ultimate dream that you want to go for, is making the top 50 list. And it comes out every 4 years. And Daniel Vaughn with a team of 20 people go throughout Texas, over 440 barbecue joints. And the funny thing is, I think there's like over 2,000 like registered barbecue joints, right, in Texas. And they go there and they, they're looking for, the experience, the food, and being consistent, right? And it's just one of those things that you hit those marks. Like I don't want to say that it's what we do this for, because at the end of the day, we want to feed our community. And if you don't do that first, you won't have successful business. Like, you have to take care of your community. And as much as you invest into your community, you'll get it back.
You said something. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you said something key in the beginning of that. You said our team, and then you said our family. So usually successful businesses do something to connect that. And I have a feeling that one of the reasons why you're successful is because of the people around you. Tell our audience, what are some key things that leaders miss, like that works for you in the food industry? We know any type of industry right now is challenging, getting the right employees, making sure that they're happy, and making sure that they stay. It sounds to me like you have a little bit of that because it reflects on your food and making the top 50. Tell our audience members, what are some key things to keeping that? That could probably be transferred to any other industry, but being a leader, how do you get your team going?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I think the number one thing is letting go and putting people in positions and trusting them. Let them make mistakes and let everybody know it's okay to fail. I think we live in a world that people think it's bad to fail, but in reality, failing is the only way you learn. If you do it 2 or 3 times, and yeah, we have an issue, but it's okay. Let's make mistakes. Let's figure it out. Like, no one's perfect. We're not saving anybody's life. We're just feeding people. But, I struggle with it daily, and even to this day. Like, I'm still trying to figure out, how do you, like, what is a leader, right? Like, we try to run a flat organization, but I really think my wife, Christan, and then Bonnie, we elevated her to our GM. Like, I'm able, because Jose knows me, I'm very passionate, and I can get really excited. And sometimes people take that as like, I would say 99% of the time, I'm like the nicest, chillest, most guy. And then that 1%, like, I'm just like, over the top. And people kind of freak out. They're like, is everything okay? But it's just like, sometimes you just, get excited. But Bonnie and my wife, they understand me, and they kind of like filter me, and they kind of work with the team. And it took me a while to figure that out. Like, right. I wanted to be the end all be all conversation, but I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm figuring out that I'm not right all the time. And to be honest with you, I think that's the hardest thing for me to figure out, because I always think I'm right, but in reality, I'm not.
I love that you say that, though, that you're still trying to figure it out, because that is probably one of the signs of an effective leader, without calling themselves leaders. And that, hey, this is a never-ending journey. You're always learning. So I love that answer, man.
You keep bringing up family, and you just said not saving lives, but I think you're wrong. You not only saved your own life, but through the Zavala Family Foundation, you're trying to save other lives. And you did all this while undergoing cancer treatments. How the hell did you hide that? Because our families have known each other for a long time.
So I kept it private for from December 2019 to May of 2020 because it was my battle and I was ashamed of it. I wish I could tell you I wasn't. And it was in the process of trying to make this prestigious list, right? We didn't know if it was going to get pushed out or if it was still going to be done. And I didn't want to be a feel-good story of this guy's battling cancer and he makes good barbecue. Like I wanted our team, the Zavala's Barbecue, to get any accolades that we got because our food was great. And if we were going to survive COVID, it was because we survived COVID because of our food, not because, hey, Joe has cancer, let's go rally behind him. But my family knew and my closest friends knew. And to be honest with you, they always say you hurt the people closest to you. Like when I did go public in May of 2020 that I had cancer, everybody's like, how did you do this? How are you happy? Like, how are you happy-go-lucky? And you can ask my wife and my friend CJ and Drew, I was an asshole dick to them. And I didn't know it. Like, I had all this like pressure, like, are we going to be able to keep the restaurant open? We didn't want to lay anybody off. We have these responsibilities. We got to feed the community. Oh my God, like I have cancer. Like, and then I have my full-time job. Like, then my kid was a year and a half. And it's like, what the hell am I doing? And I just had it, to Jose's point, I do tell people that barbecue saved my life because I didn't have time to think about the cancer. Like I would just go in and get my treatment, say, let's fucking go. Let's get it done with. Let's go. And, COVID happened. And then I had the best doctor in the world. And, it was kind of funny when I was diagnosed with cancer and I had to go see one doctor in the morning on December the 16th. And we started talking about shoes and then we started talking about barbecue. He's like, oh, you do barbecue? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I was like, we have a little place. And he's like, has Daniel Vaughn ever came by? And he's like, yeah, he has. And he looks up and he's like, oh my God, you have flawless brisket? I'm like, sure. And I'm like, I fucking have cancer. We're talking about barbecue. Okay. And it was my radiologist. He was the nicest guy ever. And then he's like, have you got in touch with your other doctor? And again, it was only been 12 hours. And, we emailed and called, didn't get any phone calls. Rightfully so. It was into December. Everybody's trying to use their benefits. And he's like, hold on one second. Walks outside. Then comes back and he's like, he's going to see you. So he literally walked me up to go see my doctor, who's Dr. Berryman. It's my love of my life. Like, he's my best friend in the world. And we have a great relationship. And he, he's like, go get some food and come back. And he spent 4 hours of saying, this is our treatment. This is what we're going to go through. And like I tell everybody, if he tells me to jump off a bridge, I'm going to do it because you have to have the 100% commitment and knowing that your doctor's going to have your back. I'm really fortunate because I go to Texas Oncology, but Dallas, Simmons Baylor Center. Like we have, like he's one of the best multiple myeloma. I have multiple myeloma. It's a plasma cancer. I won the jackpot. The average age is like 75 that gets it. I was 33 when I got it. So 32. When I got it, and his mother sadly was diagnosed and passed away with. So this is one of his life missions is multiple myeloma. So I couldn't be with a better doctor. And I just had my 2-year checkup. I've been off medicines since June 8th of 2020. I had to do a stem cell right when the COVID trend started going down. My doctor slipped me in, and I was able to get my stem cell treatment, and been in remission. I did my bone marrow biopsy I do yearly, and my PET scan, everything looked good. The great thing about science, new tests and new things coming out, so there's another test that we look at, and my numbers are starting to rise, so they're going to put me on some maintenance to try to, it's like a precursor to what could come, that my cancer could come back, so it's like, hey, let's just nip it in the butt right now and put you on some medication. So this just happened the last 2 days, so he's in the process of getting me approved by insurance. Yay, all that fun, but he's great, and we're going to figure out a way, and it's a beautiful thing because I have a great team and my family. My mom and dad's all sad yesterday. I said, it's okay, I'm still here, and Yes, I can live with it for the rest of my life. And, yeah, I may mess up my body and some of my organs and stuff, but my son's only 4 and I still got a lot of living with him to do. And, kind of from a barbecue standpoint, I think it's to the point now where we have some people that are coming in and work for us and, their dreams are opening up the place. Like, I want to create that legacy and that line of, oh, somebody worked at Zavala's Barbecue and they started off and opened their own place. Because, let's be honest, the only people that really remember you after you're gone is your family. But, people do love food. And if there's a way for us to be able to keep this for my son and my son can decide if he wants to sell it or burn this bitch down, that's totally fine. But I want to have something for him to be able to make that decision.
How do you stay so cheery about it? Because I've known you for a while and you've always emitted this kind of energy even when you're chill. It's infectious.
Yeah.
It's got to be difficult to maintain. Do you just channel everything through your family and your food?
Yeah, I would lie to you if I wouldn't tell you that sometimes in my car I yell really loud and say, "Why me?" I do. But no one wants to be around somebody that's pissed off or sad about themselves. Like, think about it. Like, negativity, like, everybody wants to get away from it. Like, no one wants to be around that.
It's attractive.
So,
It's attractive and it's easy work, but you've mentioned like this not this happy-go-lucky. You're set in reality. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it is infectious. It is infectious. And a lot of things we talk about the show, we talk about the hidden ingredients of what goes into a great taco, a great barbecue. And you're speaking. I mean, we're actually witnessing that. Right? We're talking about cancer, and you have this fucking smile on your face that's just contagious, brother.
I appreciate it. And, I think it's my wife, right? My wife also tells me, Joe, like, no one wants to hang out with a party pooper. No one wants to hang out with Debbie Downer. So I want to make experiences, and I want people to want to hang out. I used to say no to stuff all the time. Like, I just wanted to be by myself, but I challenge myself to say yes to do stuff because it's really easy to just be stuck at home by yourself and think that it's okay. And it is, sometimes like Sundays is our family day. We do nothing. Like that's our Jose, my son, he's a third, Christan, me. Like she goes get some plants, likes to plant stuff. Jose likes to learn about numbers, and I watch F1 racing, and then we come together and we cook, and it's our times, right? Because Monday through Saturday we're like, what the hell's going on? It's just like it's contained chaos, and sometimes Kristen gets tired from it, and we're trying something we talked about yesterday because I know I talked to y'all guys before the meeting, and I was telling you it's like I'm trying to figure out what makes me happy, right? I'm living my dream as a consultant. I'm living my dream as having a barbecue joint, but I'm always wanting to say I'm having this moment of like, what do I want to do? Like, because this is like I said when I had cancer the first time that I was going to live more in the moment and I wasn't going to be the same way that I was beforehand. And sure enough, I'm back to what I'm doing. I'm going 100 miles an hour and I'm forgetting what I said I was going to do. So I was kind of having an oh shit moment, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And like, I told you all that. And Jose says, you're doing what you said you want to do. Like, you got your dream job as being a consultant and you're able to feed people for barbecue. And Kristen said the same thing. And I don't know what I'm chasing. I don't know. If I told you that I was a little lost right now, yeah, I am. Because everybody looking outside in probably like, oh my God, this guy has his shit together and successful and he's top 50 and he has a really great IT job. Like, what the fuck's he talking about? What's he looking for?
I think that's very approachable. It's connective. Look, no one has their shit together. If someone tells you they're on top of their shit, just run.
True.
They're not the kind of person you want to hang out with. They're a freaking liar, is what they are, and you can't trust them. But all the trust in the world doesn't make me be comfortable with the fact that you drank out of a fucking shoe.
I'm going to say this. That day, I lived in the moment and didn't even have my cell phone when we made top 50. And I knew it. Like, I bought like 4 bottles of Casa Azul. I had 9-liter champagne bottle. I had 4 other champagne bottles. I had Lone Star Light. I said, we're going to party. And the most beautiful thing is Goldie's, #1 barbecue joint. Panther City, #10 barbecue joint, Smokeaholics, Danes, and Hurtado. Like, they came to our place, and it was kind of funny. It's like I said, hey man, I'm gonna party. Y'all want to come? And they came. We partied for like 4 or 6 hours. My mayor came by. My city manager came by. A lot of our regulars came by, brought bottles, like partied with us. And that was the first time in a long time that I lived in the moment. And I think when they finally gave me my phone back, I had like 500 text messages and missed call, and I didn't give two shits. It was a beautiful day, and it was a beautiful moment.
What kind of shoe was it?
And
I mean, was it like
Yeezy? It was a Yeezy.
All right.
I have this thing for I have quite a bit of Yeezys, and I use them when I make barbecue. And people freak out because like, what the fuck are you doing? It's just a shoe. It's just a shoe.
But feet are disgusting.
No, they're not.
You know what? To be honest with you, I had a lot of alcohol consumed, so you know, if you really break down and think about it, yeah. But in the moment, you don't really give two shits because it's you know, and it's funny because it was in those shoes that I was making the barbecue while for like I think I wore those shoes for like the last like 8 months, like as we were going through the process of top 50. So all that sweat, blood, nastiness was in it, and I wanted to consume it. I said, "Fuck it, if cancer is in me, I had to get some chemo in me." It's like, what the hell is some shoe fungus, right?
Right.
You might have discovered the cure, huh?
Yeah.
In like Forrest Gump, you stumble into something like the cure for cancer is the shoe, drinking out of a shoe.
Yeezy really is Jesus.
Yeah.
That was your come to Jesus moment. Man, I knew that you were on the top 50 list for like a month, and it killed me because in that month, I think I was at your place like 2 to 3 times, and I couldn't tell you. You would bring it up, and I just, I had to keep my mouth shut. So when it was announced, I was so happy to be able to congratulate you for all the hard work. The only regret I have is that I couldn't have been there that day because I was working.
Hey, you do the greater good for tacos in the world, right? And
No, I don't. But okay,
yes,
thanks.
and you got a job you got to do. You got to make sure that tacos are tacos.
So tell us about the Zavala's Family Foundation real quick, because we're running long, which is great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic that we are running long, but I think this is important.
For sure. So in 2018, we used to have Texas country music. We had Cleto from Flatland play in our backyard. And it was about 100 of our friends, and it was friends and family. It was almost a thank you of people supporting us for Zavala's barbecue. And we made barbecue and fed people and had alcohol. And everybody's like, hey, can we give you money? I'm like, no. They're like, you need to start a foundation. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And then 2019, 2017 is our first year. 2018, we had Cody West in our backyard. And then 2019, we had Austin Mead and at Zavala's barbecue in the backyard. And every single time people kept on trying to give us money. I'm like, I don't want money. And then me and the wife always makes goals for ourselves. And at the end of that one, I told her one of my goals for 2020 was to start the Zavala's Family Foundation. Well, funny enough, that December, I was diagnosed with cancer. And we wanted an opportunity to raise money. And I really wanted to do it for Grand Prairie only, but I met with some individuals that run foundations, and they said, first question was, why don't you just raise money and give it to another foundation? There's millions of foundations that are raising money, and you can just be part of one of those. But I really want to know where the money goes. And while I was diagnosed with cancer, it may be that I was hyper aware of people in the restaurant industry getting cancer because I had cancer. With Justin Holt, that was at Lucia. That was a Salaryman, James Beard nominated chef. He got diagnosed with leukemia, and then Nathan Tate, his child, got diagnosed with leukemia. I met him at a Channel 8 event, and I was like, holy crap, there's all these people in the restaurant industry that are being affected by cancer. Me, I'm fortunate that I work in an IT company, so usually young people, so our insurance is really good. My total cost for my cancer treatment was $875,000.
No.
I only had to pay $2,300 out of my pocket. So I know a lot of these individuals that, because I think the restaurant industry is changing. There is vacation. There is people offering insurance. And, but to think about a lot of these people that do have insurance, we know their deductibles are high. So I tell people all the time, it's like, I can't raise $875,000, but I could probably raise $25,000 or $50,000. So with that, we started the Zavala's Family Foundation in February of 2020. And, it's just been kind of dormant because COVID, we're going to do our first Zavala's Bash after COVID. It's last September, but Delta came, so we were overly cautious and did not do it. This year, we actually are going to be doing it at the Firehouse. It's going to be capped off 500, but we have 475 people that we're going to invite. We're going to have 2 Texas country bands. We're going to make whole hog. We're going to make fajitas. We're going to make smoked sirloin sliders. and the beef is donated by 44 Farms, and Benny Keith's going to be donating the other products. And our goal is to raise as much money as it can. Like I tell everybody, it's a free event, but to walk in the door, we're going to ask for a donation. And I want to show the city what we did on our own so they can become part of this, and this can become one of the most prestigious events and fundraisers in Dallas-Fort Worth. I invited a lot of my barbecue friends and also chef friends. So I'm not asking them to do anything, but I just want them to see what we're doing. So they may want to help out, and we can make this into like a cool event where we raise money for individuals, but also we can feed people and have a good time and celebrate that people do need help and you can live with cancer. It's not a death sentence. And I think that's a thing that people need to realize. Like when I walk into the cancer center, people look like me, right? Like I don't look like I have cancer, but I do, but I understand the media and fundraisers have to show of all people, the weak people, because that's how you raise money. But I can't tell you how many people came out to me when I did go public that I've been in remission for 5 years, 8 years. I'm like, holy shit, you got cancer? Because people were afraid to talk about it because they don't want it to come back. Like, people are superstitious. It is what it is. And I am too, but I know I need to speak about it, and I would be doing disservice to all the people that came before me, and also a lot of people in the restaurant industry that, and I tell people, like, the thing about cancer is before they give you treatment, they say, I need you to swipe your credit card. You have to pay before your treatments. It's not like the other stuff where they're like, oh, it's okay, we'll bill you. It's like, no, you need this chemo, you need your copay, or we need your deductible. That's the only way you're going to get it. And what do you do?
Some people have to
people say no. Yeah.
That's fucked up. I did not know that. So thank you for doing what you do with the foundation and your time. I don't know if we have anyone who wants to speak. Chris Rossetti wants to speak. Here we go. Hi, Chris.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Great interview, great information. What a privilege to learn so much. I have a question for you. Joe, your guest. I noticed on your website that you have a class coming up where you can learn to barbecue at your location. My question is twofold. One, is it BYOB, bring your own brisket, or will you supply the meat? And two, can we see Jose and Isidro on camera learning to cook under your tutelage? I think that would be amazing content. Thank you.
I suck at barbecue.
We can, I do owe Jose a couple of cow heads whenever he gets his postal done. I think that would be a good live stream for us to do, is make barbacoa. Because I've never done it either, but, you can't really screw it up. It's like, wood, throw it in, throw the meat in, we'll figure it out. And we used to do BYOB briskets, but it gets really messy, and I don't want to upset the Four Corners guys. So it's this one's more of a visual. We have about 22 people signed up. It's more of a, this is how we do it. I do it up close. A lot of drinking going on, a lot of conversation, a lot of Q&A. We just want people I think people forget and get caught up and think barbecue is so complicated, but in reality, it's barbecue. And the only thing that matters is you like it and your family likes it, and just relax. And that's the biggest thing I try to teach people is, there's so many YouTube videos. There's so many people saying you got to do this way or that way. But at the end of the day, barbecue is here before them. Barbecue is here after them. And there's not a right way to do it.
That's perfectly said. It's how you like it. Nobody could tell you that your taste buds suck. Well, Jose can, but
Well, that's why I don't know if he knows this, but that's why we took carnitas off of our menu, because, we weren't truly like cooking in his own fat. Like, we were smoking it and let it cook in like Coke and like oranges, like did everything but in its own fat. So we took it off the menu, and we're getting a direct pit, and we're going to get a castle so we can actually like do it the right way. Like some of the stuff I take off the menu because, I don't want to get murdered, and I get it, because that's the thing about it is, if we're not a steward of what was done, then we're going to lose that history, right? Yeah. And that's ultimately what you don't want to do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly said, man.
Chris, and thank you, Joe.
Yeah. It just reminds me of, I grew up in a taco truck, and my mom and dad, they didn't have means of making the carnitas that way. So they would chop it up and they would sell it as carnitas. But the way they seasoned it, the way they prepared it, it involved some orange juice and it was good. And we would call it carnitas, but we knew it wasn't carnitas. And my parents, I don't know if it's a Mexican thing. You're always like looking out for el cucuy. Somebody's going to call us out on it. And Nobody ever did, man. But I love that you say that, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it to honor the tradition because, that's the future we're talking about. And, I love that. That's honorable.
So where can people find Zavala's Barbecue?
We keep it nice and simple. Zavala's Barbecue, and you spell out BARBECUE on all our social media platforms. They're all the same. You can do zavalasbarbecue.com. You can order online. We're very active on Instagram, and we try to give as much knowledge as we can and make people feel comfortable that it's okay to cook in your backyard.
So we like to end our shows on a positive note. This whole show has been one positive note, though. So this is the final note. This is something that Isidro's really passionate about, and it makes me happy with the things that he comes up with. They're called taquotes. So they're taco-themed cat posters. All right? I think that's the quickest way one can describe them. So, Isidro, without further ado,
today's talk quote. It's so fitting with you, Joe, here. When life throws you a cow, make carne asada.
True.
This speaks to resilience, dedication, and ganas, right? Ganas is part of our culture. Your family exemplifies ganas when sometimes ganas may not be enough. And so hearing you out, your journey, it says that sometimes you need to season ganas, and you're living that. So this talk quote's dedicated to you, people like you.
Appreciate that.
well, thank you for joining us here again. Isidro, lead us out.
Yeah, so, and real quick, we're going to have to do what Chris suggested and have a live stream show, all of us, and we will try to pass on the taste. Hopefully it works out. But yeah, on behalf of Jose Ralat and Joe Zavala, I'm the proud son of a taquero, and this is 10,000 Tacos. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.